You thought I hated white men before? You don't even know what's coming for them crackers.
Why wouldn't they just leave Germany before the Holocaust? This is the time right now that we should all leave Germany.
The meltdown marathon over Trump's election is still going. And honestly, it's getting kind of sad. But I also can't stop laughing. Hey guys, I'm Brad Polumbo. Welcome back to the Brad vs. Everyone podcast, where we take on the craziest ideas from across the internet and across our politics, all from an independent perspective. Thank you guys for joining me. We've got so much coming up about all the woke, insane meltdowns over Trump's big victory, from TikTok to MSNBC to The View. And without further ado, let's check in on the Clock app, because our friends over there are not coping well. Here's a little compilation I made of some people losing their minds in hilarious but also kind of sad fashion over Trump winning. Warning, you may want to turn down your volume a little bit.
I'm sorry! No! Why? Why? Do you really hate me that bad?
So on one level, I do feel bad for these people. But on another level, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this shit isn't hilarious when it is. We have grown adults losing their minds in 4K, all because the election didn't go their way. And they've just got this dystopian, hysterical, detached from reality vision of what's about to happen to them, as if they don't remember 2016 to 2020 when Trump was already president. And look, I agreed with some things, I disagreed with others, I had criticisms of him, I thought he did some things well, some things kind of crazy, but the sky did not fall. There were no dystopian death camps, and there is no need for this level of meltdown and outrage. So yes, we can have compassion for these people because I think they've been clearly lied to and misled by mainstream media's hyperbole and alarmism, which I push back on all the time, and its rank bias, and also by social media extremists, activists, and partisans who make a living by hyperventilating online and telling them all these dire predictions about Republicans and about Trump that are exaggerated or untrue. Well, they've created this. This is the product, right? You have all these people out there experiencing this profound emotional distress and dysfunction because of those lies and because of that propaganda, which is why it's so important to call that crap out when we see it. So in one sense, these people are honestly kind of victims, but it's still okay to laugh at them because it is funny. It is hilarious how delusional and absurd these people are. And also, they chose to set up their frickin' tripod, record themselves, and post it on the internet. It's not like somebody flew a drone outside their bedroom window and caught footage of them privately crying to their friend about how stressed they were. It would be wrong to make fun of that kind of person in that context. But no, you decided, and a lot of this is fake too, or at least wildly exaggerated because they know it will get them clicks, the tears. You decided to record yourself screaming or crying or whatever, freaking out, and upload it onto the internet for attention. So it's okay for us to laugh at you. Sorry. Not sorry. There's also a social media dynamic here that is really worth unpacking. Online culture valorizes victimhood and has made oppression a form of social currency, and it's created this dysfunctional world that you actually somehow socially benefit by uploading videos of you to the internet where you scream and rant and cry like a lunatic. Something's broken there. Clearly. Like, that's not a healthy online social media culture that produces this kind of result. But at the very least, it makes entertaining viewing for us. Thankfully, very few of these people's wild fears will actually become true when Trump takes office. And hopefully, they'll realize that their hysterical stress was mostly for nothing. The other issue I have with the absurd freakout, which we'll get more into later in this video, is that it actually discredits the many legitimate criticisms and concerns that people have about Trump becoming president again when they take everything to the nth degree and they just melt down. Like, there are actual issues I'm pretty concerned about. Some of his trade policies, some of what he might do with immigration, some of his stuff on press freedom and freedom of speech I've talked about, I'm not on board with, and I will push back on. But when you have hysterical people freaking out and acting like he's the new Hitler and like the world's gonna end, it discredits everyone, and it just gives everyone an excuse to write off all the criticisms or complaints as if they're all crazy, as if they're all absurd. In short, y'all are not helping. You need to get a grip, and you need to stop uploading this to the internet and then acting like we're bad guys because we laugh at you. And we're going to run through some more toxic TikTok content that's going viral right now, including this video of a mom who has scared her children so much that they're crying over the election results and then is capitalizing on it for internet clout. Take a listen.
Harris did not win.
Who won?
Trump. So
Take a breath.
Yep. So today may look a little different at school. Okay, there are probably going to be friends who have questions, right? I'm sure your teachers are going to, I think, we currently are in a country where we get to choose, right? And people have different priorities. They have different values. Some people hear what he has to say and they don't believe him. And some people hear what he has to say and they believe him and they agree with him. So today's your school day is probably going to look pretty normal. Okay, your teachers are going to do a really great job of, if you have questions throughout the day or if you have big feelings throughout the day.
Do you like these?
Are you sad?
I'm very sad.
And now you're crying.
So this is some of the most delusional and toxic BS I've seen on TikTok, and that's saying something. And it's not because this woman is upset over the election results. She's entitled to support whoever she wants, and of course she's not going to be happy. It's because of how she's exploiting her kids, scaring them and making them upset for no real reason, and then cashing in on it for social media clout. First, your kids should not be this distressed about the election results unless you've been filling their head with fear for no reason, because it's literally not going to affect them in almost any way. You should just be telling them what happened, explaining to them the results. Some people are upset about it, and encouraging them to talk to their friends, listen to how people are feeling, and try to be positive and just focus on their day to day. And if their teachers are like melting down or not holding class or collapsing into emotional puddles or something, that's an issue you as a parent should be taking up with the school, not seeming to encourage or endorse. But the worst part of this video isn't even how she's clearly emotionally manipulated her kids and filled their heads with political propaganda. It's that she's putting her kids' voices and tears on the internet, exploiting their emotion and pain that she, not Trump and not his supporters, has artificially created, and blasting it out into the internet for attention, validation, clout, and money. I'm not a parent, but I can't imagine doing that to my kids, exploiting them like that. Like, I find it sickening, honestly. I'm pretty skeptical of posting your kids on the internet at all because there are so many creeps out there. And so I think if I do have kids, I won't even post their faces most likely. But it's one thing to post your Thanksgiving family photo. It's something entirely different to post your kids crying and utilize their tears to maximize algorithmic retention and views. Something is sick here, and it's not Trump or his supporters. Up next, this woke preacher is coming unhinged over Trump and telling all his supporters they're all going to hell. Let's take a listen.
I'm delivering 3 sermons today, each one to a different group of people. And this one is for the Trump supporters. You are going to hell for this.
Oh?
You're going to hell for this. You have blatantly disregarded your neighbor. You have failed to care for the widowed, the orphaned, and the immigrant. You have committed idolatry, and you have become lost in your greed and your lusts. You are proud
Lust?
and envious, and you will face that reality on Judgment Day. A lot of you have become too arrogant to believe that you could go to hell. A lot of you have become so idolatrous that you don't think that man could get you there. But you are wrong, and I have never felt something with such conviction in my entire life. And I don't come to you as a saint, I come to you as a fellow sinner. You can repent. You can walk away from this. You can start to atone. But I doubt any of you will. I think that if God himself came down from the heavens, laid hands upon Donald Trump and called him the Antichrist, you would still follow him. Because what, he's promising to make eggs a little cheaper? Like, I'm not happy with the price of eggs either, but I am not willing to risk my eternal soul for it. I am not going to place a convicted predator into a position of power in the hopes that gas will be under $3 a gallon. I am a simple man, and I am not that greedy. You had two choices that did not involve you putting into office the best friend of one of the most prolific child traffickers in modern history. You could have downsized your life, gotten rid of that big giant truck of yours, and all your expensive weapons, or you could have gone out and fought for higher pay, or an end to corporate corruption. You chose to do neither of those things because it was easier to blame immigrants. And that is laziness, that is sloth. You saw hatred as the path of least resistance and the best way to maintain your lifestyle, and you took it. You took it at the expense of the lives of so many of the neighbors you are supposed to be loving. You have failed as a Christian. You have failed to live up to the expectations of Christ, and we all do at some point or another. But you need to repent. And I don't believe in hell as a place of eternal fire. No, I think hell is going to be something so much worse for you. Because if you got thrown into a pit of fire, if you were tortured for all eternity, you would never learn anything. You would just feel slighted by God. You'd fall on your knees and feel persecuted. And you'd cozy up to the devil for perks. Because that is what you have been doing for your entire life. That is what you did with this election. No, here's what I think hell is for you. I think hell is a place where you're going to have to face the fact that you were wrong. And you're going to have to sit there in the silence, in the emptiness, in the nothingness, for however long it takes you to figure it out. For however long it takes for you to learn how to live in a society with other people in it. That is the burning you will feel. The burning of your own soul eating you up. May God have mercy on you. May God have mercy on us all.
That was a lot. So as you guys probably know, if you've followed me for some time, I'm not religious. I'm not a Christian. I don't know exactly what I believe. I'm still figuring that out. I was raised very, very casually Christian, but not really deeply in any sense. So I'm going to need my religious followers and subscribers to hop in the comment section and fill me in on what parts of this video are like theologically inaccurate or flawed, because that is very much not my domain or my area of expertise. But I still have some thoughts. One, from my limited understanding of Christianity, it is not preachers or pastors or priests who get to decide who goes to hell or heaven. Isn't that like up to God, not you? And aren't you really not supposed to make bold declarations about that, about half the country because they disagree with you politically? And some of this just doesn't even make sense to me. Like, what does supporting Trump have to do with lust? I mean, maybe there's some people out there lusting for this man, but I hope not, because I don't think most people who supported Trump are doing it because they're horny. And I actually do think some super intense Trump supporters can be cult-like, or they can be idolatrous almost, in that they will never admit that Trump does anything wrong and they like think he's so amazing. But most people who support him aren't actually like that. They admit that he has many flaws, but they see him as the better of the options, and they view him as a wrecking ball that they see as needed to wreck things and bash up a broken system and establishment. And while I never support Trump and I have my criticisms of him, I can still understand why people feel that way after all these years. And that's another thing that really bugged me about this video. When this person downplays the support for Trump as, you just wanted cheaper eggs, you do not get it. You do not get how much families have struggled to put food on the table over these last few years. Inflation has been a massive problem that has bankrupted families and caused so much stress and pain and heartbreak, and you're going to dismiss it all as you wanted cheaper eggs? That's actually totally dishonest and disingenuous and nasty. There's other parts of this video that are just wrong. Like, Trump is not a convicted predator. He has allegations against him of all sorts of bad behavior, but the only crime he's been convicted of relates to bookkeeping offenses related to a payment made to a porn star, but is not a criminal offense about assault of any kind. There was a civil case, but that has a much lower standard of proof. Words and facts do matter, so you could say he was found civilly liable for sexual abuse. That would be a true statement. But to call him a convicted predator, which refers to criminal law, is not accurate or true, and facts still matter. And what is this whole nonsense about Trump supporters choosing him at the expense of the lives of their neighbors? What? There are not going to be death squads roaming around and executing people. Like, y'all are insane. Delulu, off the charts. He was already president, and it wasn't that bad. I know many Trump supporters, and I do not believe that it is fair to characterize their decision as cozying up to the devil for perks. But I think it's fair to describe this video as cozying up to Delulu for clicks and attention. Which, again, I'm not religious, but I'm sure violates some of these sins you seem so confident about. What did you guys think of this wild one? Especially my religious followers and viewers. Let me know in the comments, because wow. Next, a couple quick TikToks that I wanted to run through with you because they're just so unhinged. Some of the takes that are popping off on this website right now, I really am slightly concerned.
If you thought I hated white men before,
Oh?
you don't even know what's coming for them crackers.
Well, she seems absolutely lovely and sweet. I mean, it's actually bad to hate people because of their skin color or gender as a demographic or as a monolith. That is racism and sexism. It's giving woke KKK. And I just can't believe that stuff like this is constantly allowed to percolate and go viral on TikTok, but my milquetoast criticisms are routinely taken down as hate speech. 2024 is just a wild place to live, y'all. Meanwhile, other TikTokers are having even more delusional reactions to Trump's election. Like this one who says she might wake up a slave.
Yo, I'm scared to go to sleep. I might wake up a motherfucking slave. Y'all, like, why are y'all Trump supporters? Like, why? Why are y'all Trump supporters? Like, why is this a thing right now? Why is this okay? I can't do this no more. I should have kept my vote to myself because I knew it didn't matter. I knew it didn't.
Wake up a slave. Babe, are you okay? How hard have you hit the crack pipe? Whatever you've done, whatever you've taken, you've had enough. There are so many criticisms that can be made of Donald Trump, but the idea that he's going to re-enslave black people is a level of delusional that I struggle to even engage with. Like, in a sense, my heart goes out to these people because they're feeling all this pain and anguish that they don't need to be feeling. Like, you're worrying about something that's has no basis in reality. But in another sense, I get angry at these people because if you go to their comment section, they are influencing hundreds and thousands of viewers and onlookers to feel that same sense of anguish and fear in a way that's just not justified by the facts. I mean, I must have just missed the part of 2016 to 2020 where all this happened, huh? I'm genuinely worried about the level of delulu in our society right now. Like, some of these people might not be okay. Sending y'all my thoughts and prayers, but I am going to laugh at this, and I'm not going to feel that bad about it. Finally, we're going to end this segment with the most delusional TikTok of them all. This lady actually wins the award for the most unhinged response to Trump's election. Take a listen.
I just want to remind everyone that when we were in school and people would always ask the teacher, why wouldn't the Germans just leave Germany? Why wouldn't they just leave Germany before the Holocaust? This is the time right now that we should all leave Germany. Just saying.
Y'all, I just rolled my eyes so hard, I have a headache. They can't help themselves. They really can't. With the incessant, non-stop invocations of Hitler. It's just absurd. It just has no basis in reality. There's not going to be a Holocaust. There's not going to be any concentration camps. Y'all need to touch freaking grass. He was literally president before, and he never did anything of the sort. It's actually really offensive to Jewish people, to Holocaust survivors, to that period of dark human history, to so lightly invoke it and so casually misrepresent it and disrespect its memory and the seriousness with which it should be treated. But the same people who complain about microaggressions have no problem with this kind of unhinged, actually offensive rhetoric. And again, it discredits all the legitimate criticisms or pushback these people could be offering of Trump when they can't help themselves and they just can't avoid steering into this kind of hysteria and hyperbole.